Hello, folks. Welcome to Commissioner in the Car. One day later, because I wanted to bring you some breaking news as it was happening. But let's get into pleasantries out of the way. I'm Dustin Zarni, Democratic Elections Commissioner for Onondaga County. Today is Wednesday. As I said, it's not Tuesday. It's Wednesday, March 29th. And the breaking news is that the Assembly and Senate have extended the petition deadline for designating petitions, but not the passing deadline. So what does that mean? On Thursday of next week was supposed to be the last day for filing petitions. Well, that happens also to be the start of Passover. And because that is the last day to file petitions, often when Passover has conflicted with petition dates, they have often extended the deadline or altered the deadline or altered the period. They've done this a variety of different ways. And by they, I mean the New York State Legislature and the governor. However, this is the first time that I've seen them do it this way. So what they have done is they have extended the filing deadline for designating petitions. So, and this has passed both houses. It passed the Assembly yesterday, passed the Senate today. It's being delivered to the governor. We expect the governor to sign it either tonight or tomorrow. So the filing deadline is April 10th. However, it used to be April 7th. Now it's going to be April 10th. That goes from a Thursday to a Monday. However, they did not extend the passing deadline. That means that right now you used to be able to walk on the last day of filing petitions, April 6th, to get petitions. That was April 6th this year. And you could walk petitions and file on the same day. A lot of times what would happen is if people walked in the morning, they would go to the post office and mail their petitions in to file it, or get to the Board of Elections right before the end of business at 5 p.m. Although in New York City they stay open later. I think they're open to midnight on filing deadline days. So while they extended the filing deadline, they did not extend the passing deadline. So April 6th will be the last day to pass petitions, so getting signatures, but then you can file it on April 10th. And also acceptances for accepting or declining nominations are moved on a little bit more. And also the dates to contest the petitions by court are being moved on a little bit more. So this may sound all confusing to you. It's a little confusing for me. But, it is what it is. So the new news is designating petitions, you can walk them up until April 6th, but you have a few extra days to get your petitions together and file them. On Monday, April 10th will be the last day to file, and all of the corresponding deadlines will be moving on. And if you're confused by that, I understand. I will be doing a Zarni seminar this week on filing petitions and objections. I planned on having that out on Thursday, which would be tomorrow, but because of this late news, I'm going to push that off until Friday, so I can put all of this new stuff together in there, and I hope to have that taped and out sometime during the day on Friday, so it's there on the weekend for you to know what's going on with petitions and how to file them in Onondaga County. Now, so that is, some big news. We knew it was happening. In fact, the New York State Board of Elections had informed the legislature about this back in January. They just didn't make a change about it until now. And that's okay. This is what happens. As we're getting near the budget, we're still waiting to hear whether county boards of elections are going to get funded. My friend Jim Sherman, Nassau Democratic Elections Commissioner, who is also the incoming legislative chair for the New York State Elections Commissioners Association, and myself did an informational day up in Albany. We met with 15 different offices and 12 different members about the need for funding, and I believe that I really hope that we won't be left out of the budget. We're in two of the three budgets to various degrees. The Senate has put $30 million aside. The Assembly has put 10. The governor did not put any aside for direct aid for counties, except for reimbursing postage on absentees, which is in all three houses as well. So I released a letter last week, or this week, Monday. It was only a couple days ago. You can check that out and talk. You can show the differences in what boards of elections are getting for budgets. So then, so we're waiting on that. But also on our website this week, onvote.net, we have released a list of polling places. These are the polling places that are going to be in place for the general election. We actually have had this ready to go since March 15th. We were waiting on a couple of late leases to come from polling places, so that's why we didn't want to release it on the website, but it is on our website now, and there's been a lot of changes. We've had a lot of changes to polling places in Onondaga County. I'm going to be spending a lot of time, at least once a week, talking about this from now until the general election, because there are a lot of different polling place changes. And we try not to change a lot from year to year, but what are the factors that have made it change this year? Well, we had a lot of leases with polling places come up, and a lot of private polling places decided that they, like churches and other things, decided they cannot do it anymore. They got us through COVID, they got us through the governor's election, but they've decided they don't want to have a polling place anymore. The second thing, and probably the biggest thing, is redistricting. When you redistrict, like we did in the city of Syracuse with the Common Council and County Ledge districts, it changes the lines of election districts, and you can only have at an election district, they have to be able to vote for the same person up and down the ballot. And so sometimes it means that you have to actually change where they're polling at, because people have been moved into another election district, which is then voting at another place. And we also moved some people around to accommodate the new Common Council and County Ledge lines, especially in the east side and center of the city. So there's a lot of changes there. You'll have to check that out. And then finally, the last reason why we moved polling places is we found places that were overloaded last year, and we're adjusting to make sure that not only are they prepared for 2023, but they're prepared for 2024. Specifically, one of the big spots we had was North Syracuse school district offices. And one of the reasons that the places that have been overloaded in the last couple of years is because we have much less polling places due to getting out of many senior homes, and we've started getting back into them over the last couple of years. And North Syracuse School District office, we had a big church that decided not to be a polling place. We had a retirement home that decided that during COVID they didn't want to be a polling place. Well, we got the retirement home back, but not the church. But we found a couple other spots out there. We were moving things around. So we were able to take like 7,000 voters that were in North Syracuse. Now it's down to 4,000, which is the biggest site still in Onondaga County, but a site that you can actually handle. We have a couple of sites that are 4,000. I plan on doing a weekly wonk on polling places, probably two. One inside the city, one in the towns, where all the changes have been made. Again, my focus is going to be on telling people about all the different polling places and all the changes, because I think in the long run, the people are going to be much better off with this new set of polling places, because There are less voters per polling place. They're more spread out. Voters tend to be closer to their polling place than before. But we are going to see this change. But having this in place, having this in place for 2024 is going to be very important, because we expect 2024 to be the biggest election since 2020, and we expect it to be a high turnout election like we saw in 2020, and so polling places has been our biggest focus after redistricting this year. So we'll see how that goes. We're going to need your help. Please help us spread the word. And if you go to onvote.net, you can look yourself up and find your polling place, see if it's moved. And if you go to the polling place page, it has the list of all the polling places in election districts. We're going to get maps. We're going to get visuals. We're going to get all kinds of stuff over the next few months to be able to show people where their new polling places are. Not everybody gets changed, and probably 75% of the county is in the same polling place. But those 25% that probably change, that's a lot. And so, we're going to be doing press releases. We're going to be doing all kinds of outreach on that. But there will be people who show up at the wrong polling place. Well, our poll books will get them to the right ones. And also the new change in law this year, which allows you to vote by affidavit in any polling place, and it will count. So we're doing a lot to get ready for this. So I hope that you are ready for it as well. But yeah, so that's what's going on. If you need anything, go to onvote.net. You'll find that out. So later this week, on Friday, I'll be releasing my Zerny seminar dealing with filing objections and petitions. On this weekend, on the weekly wonk, I'll be doing the town of Salina. That finishes up all the petition towns, the towns that Democrats do petitions to walk in to get candidates on the ballot. That'll be this weekend, probably Sunday. I already have the town of Spafford up. You can check that out. The mighty town of Spafford, the smallest town in Onondaga County, in terms of voters. And then next week on Commissioner in the Car, I will be talking about the petition filing deadline, because we'll be in the middle of that, and so we'll be talking about that as well. Because next week we find out where the primaries are, and over the next few weeks we'll be setting primary election day spots, primary early voting spots, and general election early voting spots. Although I don't expect the general election ones to change all that much. So that's what we got going on in Onondaga County and with the Board of Elections. And of course, sometime in the next couple of weeks, we'll have a budget, and we'll be able to talk about that as well. So enjoy your night. Be safe. There's a little snow squall out there, and make sure that everyone is getting home. We're going to survive this one last snowstorm before we get into the spring weather. All right. Thank you. Bye-bye.